A flagship is supposed to be the best thing a company makes. So what does it say when reviewers and owners start telling you a cheaper model from the same company is a better robot? My name is Jamie Andrews, and this is the Roborock Qrevo Edge 2, the most expensive model in Roborock's mid-tier lineup, but still a good bit cheaper than the SAROS 20, their flagship model. On paper, the SAROS 20 beats the Edge 2 in nearly every category except for price. So it got me thinking, did Roborock build a mid-tier robot good enough to make their own flagship hard to justify? To find out, I put the Edge 2 through a series of over a dozen tests, and since I've already tested the SAROS 20, at the end I'll let you know how it holds up. Starting off with the vacuum performance test on carpet. With an impressive 25,000 Pascal rating, I had high hopes. I scattered 54 grams of rice on medium pile carpet and set the vacuum power to max plus. It was able to pick up 52 grams or 96%, which is right at the channel average. On tile floor, I scattered 130 grams of cat litter and once again set the vacuum power to max plus. It was able to pick up 117 grams or 90%, which is slightly below the channel average of 91%. As for grout performance, it remains a weak spot for the Duo Divide roller brush system in general, and it was no different here. The Edge 2 is equipped with a tangle-free side brush that can swing out in corners, however it does not lift. I have noticed it swings out in more areas around my home, but still it doesn't come out under furniture or under cabinets. I occasionally found the timing of the swing out to be off, either coming out too soon or retracting too late. The main roller is tangle-free as well, and I have yet to see hair wrapped around either of them in the last several years of testing. A fun fact, the Duo Divide brush roller debuted on the original Edge and the Qrevo Curve back in 2024. The mopping system uses the same dual spinning mop pads seen on other Roborock models, and the Edge 2 was able to clear all of the baked-on hot sauce in just one pass. Afterward, I wiped the floor with a white glove and found it clean. As for Edge mopping, it is equipped with a swing-out mop designed to get close to furniture and baseboards. Overall, it worked as designed. However, this is the first time I've seen a Roborock with a spinning mop pad right up on my quarter-round floor moldings. One nice-to-have feature is the ability for the mop pads to detach and stay at the dock, so you're not dragging a wet mop around your house while it vacuums. Roborock slimmed down the height of the Edge 2, shaving 23 millimeters off the first generation, bringing it down to 3.14 inches. Equipped with RetractSense retractable LiDAR, it can get into low-clearance areas of your home. An upward-facing DTOF sensor measures the gap before the robot commits. The object avoidance system is referred to as reactive AI and is capable of recognizing over 280 objects. The hardware is largely unchanged from the first generation with a single structured light sensor, an RGB camera, and an LED fill light so it can work in low light areas of your home. I ran it through my standard object avoidance test where it performed quite well. The only object it failed to detect and avoid was the black sock. In my second, more difficult test, it was able to avoid the very hard to see white USB cord, and it stayed far away from the fake animal waste samples. Dark carpets and rugs have been a challenge for many robot vacuums, but lately most have been passing this test, and the Edge 2 is no different. The Edge 2 is equipped with DurTech dirt detection, designed to spot large areas of dirt and wet stains. When it sees a large area of dirt on camera, it should boost the vacuum and raise the mop pads. I ran it through several tests and it failed to react to any of them, including the large spill of cat litter. I even tested it with large pieces of cat food and it failed there too. Worth noting, the feature is still listed as beta in the app. As for large spills, it did properly detect it. However, it never went back over the spill a second time after returning to the dock to wash the mop pads. And much of the stain was left on the floor, as you can see here with my white glove. As far as battery life goes, I was able to get 125 minutes in standard vacuum mode while mopping from the 5200 mAh battery. The dock is nearly identical in appearance to all of the Qrevo docks on the market. Roborock claims it can heat the water up to 176 degrees Fahrenheit. However, in my testing, I was only able to record 141 degrees. It produced hot water for a total of 25 seconds over the duration of a 4-minute wash cycle. I tested the cleaning effectiveness after my hot sauce test, and after 2 deep wash cycles, all but the edges of the pads were 100% clean. As for drying, I found the mop pads to be completely dry after the standard 3 hours, as was the dock tray. Roborock claims the peak drying temperature to be 131 degrees Fahrenheit, but the dock beat that claim at 141 degrees, while pulling a constant 55 watts and a half amp of power. The auto-empty system on the Qrevo docks has always performed quite well for me, and nothing's changed here. After a single cycle, it was able to remove all the contents of the dustbin. After running the Edge 2 in my home for the past few months, I've come up with a list of pros and cons, and so let's start with the cons. If you really need a slim robot to get into hard-to-reach areas, it does come at the expense of several downgrades from the original model. The battery is 19% smaller in capacity, reducing the advertised runtime by 52 minutes. The internal water tank has been reduced by 16%, down from 80 milliliters to 67 milliliters. And the dustbin is 26% smaller at 240 milliliters compared to 325 milliliters. Starting with the latest generation of Roborock models, I found they have not been performing well in my hard floor pickup test, and I'm fairly certain it's because they are making fewer passes and possibly running faster. That helps explain why Roborock claims this new generation can cover more square footage per charge than the older one at the expense of cleaning your floors. To resolve this, I recommend switching from standard to deep route mode. Roborock has made several improvements to the object avoidance system, but there is one area that needs some help. Anytime the robot spotted a cord, it had a tendency to stay too far away from it, regardless of the setting in the app, leaving large areas of the floor uncleaned. Moving on to the pros, I found the mopping performance overall to be quite excellent, and the tight water control was another strong benefit. The object avoidance performance has been greatly improved from the previous generation, and is close to being flagship perfect. As I mentioned earlier, the dock design is one of my favorites due to the one-piece fully removable dock tray, which is easier to clean than the first generation. Roborock also improved the hot water and hot air performance over the previous dock. While cleaning, the navigation was flawless, and overall the robot was very efficient in my home. In the end, the Roborock Qrevo Edge 2 is a solid performing robot vacuum, considering it's part of the mid-tier lineup. It only lacks a few features from the flagship model, like a dedicated detergent tank in the dock and an advanced threshold climbing system. It is also found on sale for well under a retail price, which makes it an easy buy. But is the Qrevo Edge 2 better than the SAROS 20? Well, the short answer is no. Out of the 16 tests I ran on both robots, the SAROS 20 came out ahead in 8, the Edge 2 in 3, and 5 were a tie. If you want the very best cleaning performance and features, regardless of the money, your choice should be the SAROS 20, and I'll leave a link to that review in the video description. If you're on a budget and you don't mind a bit lower performance and a few fewer features, look no further than the Edge 2. I suspect the $300 price difference is the entire reason many people online are saying it's a better robot to buy. And not for the performance, but for the dollar-for-dollar value you get with the Edge 2, which is a hard thing to argue against. So, tell me, would you spend an extra $300 on the flagship, or would you keep the money? Drop a comment below and let me know. If this video helped you make a decision on which robot to buy next, consider using my affiliate links in the video description and hit the like and subscribe buttons. All of it goes a long way to help support me in bringing you the very most thorough robot reviews on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.